too hard. But we were traveling the mountains just to find the loudest tears. We said down by the fire, knowing we could aim higher, but we didn't know that yet. So if you want something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here I am, 'cause I've been laying under palm trees, waiting for the summer, knowing there's nowhere to go. 'Cause I am happy on this island, wanna be my funland. I don't ever want to leave, I'm in a tropic club. I remember the ocean, memories die out too hard. But we were traveling the mountains just to find the loudest tears. We sat down by the fire, knowing we could aim higher, but we didn't know that yet. So if you want something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here I am, 'cause I've been laying under palm trees, waiting for the summer, knowing there's nowhere to go. 'Cause I am happy on this island, wanna be my funland. I don't ever want to leave, I'm in a tropic club.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Battleknights Project India Season 1. We're in the semifinals of this tournament. Finally, after 18 long days, we are here, ladies and gentlemen, and I am excited. And this is your host and caster, Kronos. Alongside me, all the way from Missouri, from the other end of the world, we have enquiry. How you doing, enquiry?
Hey man, I'm doing great. We're starting to kind of reach that conclusion point of this tournament. The intensity has been on the rise. And I was just here, was it yesterday, the day before, casting, and I could see the improvement from the teams. You could see there's some hunger here. And actually, one of the teams I got to see was ABM, Red Side team. Very excited to see what they can do and pull out up against SHOMONATION. As again, like I said, we're getting towards the end, so more things are on the line here today, Kronos.
And more things on the line indeed. And let's not forget, guys, this is the best of 3. So it just goes to show that the first match might not be the final game, because there are another 2 more, potentially 2 more upcoming for the entire series. And if both the teams did their homework right, like they know what heroes they're going to be picking out, they could ban those out and have a really one heck of a cracker game for us. And I think let's not wait, and Quirky, let's get the viewers what they want as we head straight into the draft.
Man, not just what the viewers want, but shoot, I want it too. The closer we get to the draft, the closer we get to the action, man. And that's exactly what we're looking forward to, is seeing the action, seeing some of that competitive spirit. And I'm honestly super excited to see what they'll go ahead and pull out, because last time getting to see, right, Team ABM, they took that snowball early composition up against a team that looked poised and ready to take it if it got through that mid to late game. But they played their win conditions so well, it never reached that point with that Dairoff, right? Able to capitalize so much in the early game. So I'm wondering, will they repeat the recipe? Because if it's not broke, you don't really have to fix it, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. You know, they completely threw it left field, just throwing a doozy, not just to the viewers and the players in the opposition team, even to us casters. I was in the sidelines watching this game, like, why are we looking at Lapu Lapu in the jungle? Like, that's something I don't really see. And looking at the bans right now, see this Novaria being banned out and this Terizla, a fantastic EXP laner, something that's prioritized not only in the Indian subcontinent but all regions entirely. And just looking at how these teams are gonna match up, I'm just excited. I just hope that they ban out these comfort picks from the side of ABM, these Kadidas, these Changas, and these Fredrins. But now they banned out this Changa, so it just goes to show that these teams have done their homework. It's just a matter of time till we get more excited and see how this draft, this pot of stew boils up to.
And I mean, honestly, at this point, right, I expect nothing less. Teams got to do their research, right? You don't want to get caught off guard by some pocket picks, some strange strats. And ABM definitely likes to use those strange strats. And they did use that Chenga. Last time I was here casting, I saw this get pulled out in full force in that mid lane. And they used it well, even up against the lane as well. So they're definitely very comfortable in their picks. So I'm definitely in agreement with what Shomo's doing here, trying to limit some of that comfortability, maybe force them to adjust, maybe go for their secondary, that plan B, and not exactly let them go straight for plan A, because we know what it looks like when they can get the picks that they want. It's a full domination.
I mean, full domination indeed if they get their picks. But right now, the plans have to come into place. And the draft only gives us time to tell so. But looking at the meta right now in Quirky, given the buff in this Irithel, the rise in this marksman, will you think that ABM or the side of SHOMONATION might pick it up? Because SHOMONATION are not to be discredited or undermined. Yes, we've been talking about ABM this whole time. They've been doing a fantastic work in this entire tournament and multiple tournaments previously as well. And SHOMONATION here, actually named previously as Vitality Esports, coming in with a new name, just goes to show what they want, that they are here in the top tier teams in the Indian subcontinent. So just let's not undermine them, and let's see how they can perform as well, as right now those Kadidas and these Fredrins are banned out. And just goes to show that these teams know what they prioritize and don't want to deal with.
And, you know, on subject about that Irithel pick, right, that you were kind of talking about, I know in, you know, these competitive scenes like MPLID right now, it's Irithel's doing pretty well. Obviously, there's like Claude Beatrix sitting at like 60 picks right up there. And then when you go down to the tier 2 and you got things like Carrie, things like Brody, Irithel, she's like a pick or two behind those two, sitting at like a 53% win rate. So she's pretty decent. She's pretty solid. And I think as people fool around with the patch a little bit more, we should see it up. I wouldn't be shocked if we see Irithel pick here. I actually would be in favor of seeing an Irithel pick. I think she's a little slept on. So definitely excited to see that. But things we are seeing, the Uranus locked in first for Shomo. So they're going immediately in for that sustained kind of region composition here.
They don't want to give any map pressure towards the side of ABM, because we know what they can do when they get the macro of their game going on. So taking up that Uranus, and honestly, in Quirky, after seeing these Lapu Lapu being picked up right now, I don't even know if they're going to play him in the jungle or in the EXP lane.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was wondering, right? Do we see the Lapu jungle or the EXP? Right now, we don't have an answer because the only pick that took it with it was the Faramis. So it's flexible, at least with them. For most teams, Lapu is straight XP. It's not a flexible pick, but when you're facing ABM, it is flexible. They can put it in the jungle. They can lock the Dairoff in the XP, and they might do that, actually, because last time they faced the Uranus, they did. They put the Lapu jungle, they picked up the Dairoff, and that's what they ran in the EXP. But look at this Chronos, that Irithel pick we were just talking about. It comes out from the side of Shomo.
Yeah, the Irithel being picked up nice and early in this first phase of the draft. Don't want to let that go. So now, given the fact that we are in the second phase bans, they can go ahead and ban out these marksmen that kind of are a counter to Irithel. Not many marksmen counter this Irithel, in my opinion. I'm not sure,
Right.
Corky, if you could tell us if there are any marksmen that they should be banning out now, though.
If you're going to ban out a marksman, I think you want to go for a Bruno for sure. Bruno's very strong into the Irithel. There's an argument to be made that Claude can. It's hard for him to win in the laning phase, but when you're talking about trying to catch this Irithel, when she pops that heavy crossbow, gets that moving speed, the sprint, Claude is pretty much second to none when it comes to chasing. With the BMI, can take the sprint, can keep up, but it's a little harder to execute. So maybe if you're not scared about that, I definitely recommend like a Bruno or even a Brody, something like that here from the side of Shomo. If they want to go ahead and take care of a marksman.
This Bruno is something that is kind of a pocket pick, and ABM are no strangers to pocket pick. But enough about ABM. Let's highlight a little bit of SHOMONATION, right? I think I've been talking a lot about ABM. I don't really want to discredit them either, but let's not forget SHOMONATION, who have come all the way to the semifinals from 260 teams. We're down to best four right now, and it just goes to show, like how good these teams are. And Kevin Ader picking up this Eve, who has that kill box with the real world manipulation and can really get down in these team fights and just make sure cause a big havoc. And let's not forget that stun in the edges that actually provide a little bit of immobilization. And the final bans coming out, this Brody and Minotaur. And you spoke about this Claude being a little high risk, high reward kind of a pick, hard to execute, and they picked it up. And Radium has been consistent. That's the key word, consistent on this Claude throughout the entire tournament.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, you can see it from a mile away. Like you said, it was either a Bruno Brody ban for the side of Shomo, and then, of course, like I said, Claude would have been a nice answer too from the side if they wanted to take that risk. And it looks like they want to. They're going to take the gamble in the matchup up against Irithel. And I like it because, again, you can play into the Irithel if you have the right technical skill, right? If you have the mechanics for it. And not just that, it's going to be a good pickup against this Eve as well, because we know Claude is kind of that counter pick from the gold lane if you want to target something against the Eve. So if they can play this right, they're going to get a lot of bang for their buck here. They can play a 2-for-1 if this Claude is consistent, like you said here, Kronos.
Yeah, let's not forget that they are going in for this jungle pick with this Bane. And we spoke about the rise of Irithel, but I've been seeing Edith everywhere too. Today, I think there was a pickup in the MPL Malaysia scene and the MDL in Indonesia. Yes, MDL is not as big as the MPL, but it is the development league. And a lot of strategies are brewed over there in that melting pot. And right now for the jungler, ABM throwing us a doozy once again, going for the Hanzo. I don't really know what to say about it. I'm just excited to be casting this one, Quirky?
Definitely. And, you know, honestly, I think this Hanzo could be nice up against this composition because what we're seeing here from the side of Shomo is that they've opted in for some good disengage, some good counter set. I know last time I was here, I was talking about with the Edith and how it matched up against the Kufra, and we saw that. And I actually think ABM was the one to pull it out. And it works so well. Actually, funnily enough, you're talking about the Edith and then the pro scene. Right now, over, like I said, from things like MPL, Kufra is ahead, right, as far as picks, but he's down a whole 10% as far as win rates when you stack him up next to Edith. So Edith is really on the upper hand here in this matchup, at least on paper. We'll have to see how it translates to the Land of Dawn here, Kronos.
And you speak of it, everything is done on paper. Both the teams look absolutely fantastic, and we will get to see which team will come out on top in this best of 3 series for the first semifinal game in Battleknights Project India Season 1. We're in day 18 right now, and we are just moments away to get into the Land of Dawn. And this is enquiry, and Kronos is going to be bringing you this wonderful action from this entire game as we get into the melting pot for this first game in the Battleknights Project India Season 1. And let's not forget to thank everyone behind the scenes, which is brought to you by Battleknights Esports, management by Mayura Esports, powered by Mobile Saiyans, and streamed by one and only Bad Tanker, the legend. As Quirky will be bringing to you the crazy analysis like he just did, 10% drop. And I will be bringing to you play-by-play. As you can see, Apex in the face of the jungle of Shiyun right now in Quirky.
Yeah, they're already playing a little aggressive here, and that's honestly what we want to see right now. They want to be bringing that aggressiveness, how we saw them last time when they played. That's when they're at their best, when they're able to get that momentum, when they're able to take control of rivers, take control of these jungles, play the vertical version of the map. That's when they're really at their strongest. But right now, Cronus, a little bit of engage.
Yeah, we see Asuna get knocked up along with Kevin Ader there. Both the roamers doing their respective jobs right now and providing vision and CC for the team, as we see Apex gets knocked up with the Earth Shatter. But there's the Force of the Queen from Melly right now, slowing down Radium as Jay makes a faster rotation, being a Hanzo in Quirky.
Right, he is making a quick rotation, and Edith's doing a good job of trying to keep this Kufra in check here. Oh, hold up your Kronos.
Yeah, we see the ninjutsu coming out, and will he get these kills? Jay does take him down, but Kevin Ader taking quite low, force to flicker out, and so is Nihan right now, as the shadow of Hanzo will go back, but Apex gets a kill on towards Nihan, and I think I missed out first blood onto Kevin Ader there.
Yeah, it was a first blood, and again, man, this is that fast-paced gameplay that ABM wants. They love to bring out that fast tempo. Now, the problem here for the side of Shomo, again, they did take some good disengaged picks, but I think this Hanzo pocket pick is really going to help them shine through. But hang on, speaking of shining through,
yeah, we see an engage coming in the top lane, but Asuna and Alim there just backing off, don't want to go with it. And Shion right now, they are going in for that turtle as Hanzo, he'll use a shadow, but he doesn't have any of those demand. The retribution and Nihan with the Earthshatter knockup, and you can see the bravest rider from all. There's a knockup from Apex with the Tyrant's Revenge as Nihan gets taken down. Double kill onto Apex, who has a bounty on him as a roamer with 3 kills and 1 assist right now.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's kind of cool to look at. You know, the tank's 3-0-1, but it's also a kind of a scary thing. Speaking of scary, though, Hanzo with the tower dive.
Yeah, tower dive in, forcing out the real manipulation from Kevin Ader there, but gets taken down. This Hanzo in India, though, I've heard this not just in India, a lot of places. It's called a noob stomp. Pardon my language, but if you don't really know how to deal with a Hanzo, you would just get stomped because of all that early game pressure coming in. As you see, he stole even the blue buff.
You know, and again, like I was going to mention, the Hanzo pick, man, up against this like disengaged composition, they need those ultimates, right? You need the deadly catch, you need the roar manipulation, but Hanzo burns it all out. Look at this, about to burn out Bane.
Yeah, another one burning out Bane indeed. Melly trying to go back and do some damage, but Jay just attacking from so far. Thanks to that Kinjutsu that he provides from his ultimate, he's able to come in and cover the distance. As you can see, Blazing Duet from Radium just to clear out the way, but Apex with another really great knockup, just going to show that he never misses his mark.
Yeah, Apex trying to change those statistics on paper, man. But look, Hanzo again for another engage.
Yeah, and you can see once again going for the mnemonic energy and will get CC'd, however, and the shadow goes down, but Apex might get caught. But there is the call altar for the team to save him as Nihan's Primal Wrath just gets spied. But you can see Troll AB there getting in a high cut in the EXP lane so that he can provide some map pressure as Shiona tries to go and invade in the jungle of Hanzo.
You know, right now, the pressure that they brought is exactly why this gambit with Claude should be able to pay off for them. But, ooh, speaking of paying off.
Oh, you can see Horn coming out from Hanzo, getting all that damage as they are trying to go in for the turtle right now. And Apex charging up the Tyrant's Revenge, misses out on the targets as Asuna is there with the Shadow Stampede, try to pull something out, but the Earth Shatter not there really, with no follow-up damage coming in from the side of Team SHOMONATION, who have been putting in their work. But Jay chose so fast with his rotation and gets the turtle for free.
Yeah, all this dive pressure, all this uncontested engagements.
Or even baiting out the deadly catch quite early and able to farm up his. Now at this point, Shion can't really even be in his own jungle as all his buffs are just being taken away by the side of a team. Oh, never mind. You can see the double knockup with Tyrant's Rage, and he doesn't really need the shadow for the kill, but he goes to the Kinjutsu right now. Devastator coming out, but you can see that the Blazing Duet is there, and they get a kill, and that is one for Asuna finally getting a kill there. 2 And you can see Melly being taken out quite low with Cold Ultra trying to go and force for an engage. Not really going to happen as they chunk and siege down this top lane tier 3 turret. And the bot lane, you can see the bravest fighter coming out. Alim and Troll AB trying to go for a brawl, but they're just two tanky EXP laners. And Jay there onto Shion once more with a Demon Thorn. Has the Deadly Catch has been used. The Retribution does escape, but the Devastator not really able to catch up to him at this point. And Jay is just snowballing on this Hanzo with a 304 KDA.
And this is exactly why, like we saw it too when he forced out that Deadly Catch. So why this Hanzo pick was so good of a pocket pick up against this composition, because he's just burning ultimates. Oh my good Chronos.
Speaking of ultimates, that was the Blazing Duets and the Tyrant's Rage. Beautiful setup coming in from Apex, and right now in Quirky, SHOMONATION needs to find some answers for that. And Troll AB, I think he's putting in the work, but they caught him off guard. Will he use the flicker to escape? No, he does not. He has to sustain and the concentration energy for him to survive. And in Quirky, if you are on the side of SHOMONATION, what do you think is the game plan from here on out?
You know, honestly, it's very hard. I think they pigeonholed themselves a bit as we saw Melly get taken down in the side lane. Normally at this point, right, when you're facing a team that's sitting up at, you know, like 5K gold, winning the team fights, you normally want to play for the split. Speaking of fight, though, he's not going to go
low. He got them so low. Hanzo's ultimate cooldown is just about 15 seconds. As you can see, Terminator gets dove upon with the Blazing Duet, gets taken down as Apex get knocked up with the Earth Shatter. There's the bravest fighter on the Shion, trying to bail out the Deadly Catch quite early. So Jay, like he said, going in with the Kinjutsu right now. And there's the Devastator coming up, but Melly forced the heavy crossbow just to disengage. And they are roaming around with their own sort of an Ube strat coming in. And you can see the basic attacks from Radium even starting to hurt. Tyrant's Revenge and Tyrant's Rage going on to Melly right now, who gets taken down. Once again, the Kufra picking up the kill. He's on a mega kill right now. And so is Asuna as the Nihan gets taken down, forcing out the Cold Ultra along with the real world manipulation. Deadly Catch as well, but he does survive. As you can see, the Kinjutsu coming out once again. Kevinator taken out quite low and will get taken down thanks to the Hanzo's Demon Thorn. And right now, Shion can only stand and watch as the rest of his team is falling apart. And right now, Troll AB trying to peel as much as they can for the team, but not really doing any dividends. There's no follow-up damage in Quirky.
Yeah, at this point, man, they have completely ran away with this one, Kronos. I mean, it's 14-1, down 8K gold. That is a ridiculous deficit to try to overcome. And currently with the picks they have, they can't even optimally go for the counterplay. You can't, there's not much potential for the split. They don't have the splits. Even if they did, there's always a Hanzo wandering around waiting for you to go ahead and pick you off. And they can't even punish him, right? Like even with the Edith, normally you go to punish these engages, but how do you punish a man that's not even really there? You're fighting his spirit and not the body. But speaking of fighting,
yeah, you can see the punish coming on a Nihan over there, but he was taken aback, and Kevinator as well, taken out quite low. Jay just being in their face the entire time and providing so much of an engage and not giving them time to breathe, to be honest. And right now, he's once again going for it, trying to catch off Melly. Will he be able to? Yes, he can see that. However, they get a siege on the tier 2 turret in the top lane. Melly using the heavy crossbow once again just to disengage. They're baiting out. Meanwhile, the top lane, real world manipulation and the Earth Shatter. Bravest fighter gets a kill on the Shion there. And Kevinator doesn't really have the damage. And I don't know if it's too late in Quirky. Maybe it's time to plan for game 2 since the best of 3 series. As we can see the knockout coming in. But Nihan, Primal Wrath comes out and will get taken down with the Demon Thorn. And Hanzo on Jay, unstoppable as Blazing Duet from Radium onto the back line. That's a double. And those are 2 kills for nothing there. And if you count the earlier trade, that's 3 for nothing. And in Quirky, I said at that time, you think it's time to plan for game number 2, so that thinking of that, this is the best of 3 series?
I mean, never say never, right? There's always a little bit of wiggle room when you're talking about esports, but I mean, I know if I'm there, I'm feeling the doubt at this point. I mean, we haven't even, we're just about to hit the 10-minute mark. This has all happened within the span of just a couple of turtles on the First Lord. I just don't know if there's much room to recover at this point. Honestly, it looked like a battle of meta at first, right? We saw a lot of picks that were very consistent, but I think ABM broke the fourth wall when they locked in this Hanzo. Shomo has no answers for this right now. And honestly, when you look at it, it's such a genius draft. Not only does the Hanzo fit so well with the Claude for the diving, but with the Faramis, they have so much ways to waste the ultimates, whether it's the RWM, whether it's the deadly catch. You have to use an ultimate to stop this Hanzo or to stop that Cult Altar. And after that, it's another free dive for them. So they're just able to bait the skills, bait the ultimates, and then re-engage because that Shadow ult comes back like every, 12 seconds there.
And speaking of the Shadow, you can see him going in with the Devastator right now, baiting out the Deadly Catch quite early. Demon Thorn getting him Shion quite low as they get the mid lane inhibitor. Right now, Flicker, Shatter on the 3, but there is no follow-up as Primal Wrath comes out, but there's the Brave Spider with the Blazing Door to the back line. And you can see the real world manipulation. Yes, finally, this Marksman, Irithel, Melee getting a kill, but Demon Thorn once again being a thorn on their side. And SHOMONATION at this point really need to pick up the pieces and try to make something work as they are trying to engage once again. But Troll AB just making sure that they won't be able to, takes the aggro of the minions away from the turret. Jay going in once again with that Ninja Shadow, baits the Deadly Catch quite early, and Yishun taking out quite low. Will he fall? Yes, he does. And Jay is godlike right now, 705 KDA. And like you said, this composition just working so well for them in Quirky, and seems like ABM are living in the 5th dimension.
Yeah, they're definitely in the great beyond right now. It was just too big brain of a play for the side of Shomo, right? You're looking for the fair fight, and they pull out the dirty Hanzo tricks. And then look at this as well, right? They have no one to go track down this Hanzo. They know they need to stop him, but who can even go catch him? Who can contest him? He's just ulting for free. There's no risk for the Hanzo right now. Anytime he wants to ult, he can. They're stuck to base, and he's gonna keep ulting.
And speaking of bait, Asuna gets shut down. It's getting Bravest Fighter along with the real manipulation and the Blazing Duet going up, but there's the Deadly Catch, but Shun goes down as they get Lapu Lapu and Edith for exchange as Apex gets finally shut down, and that's a 3-for-2 trade. But Jay is there with the damage and gets a shutdown on towards Melee right now, and Troll AB trying to catch Jay, and like you said, but there's the Cult Altar for the survival, and he will be able to, but Troll AB, does he have the damage as Jay's taking quite low. Kinjutsu and Devastator just escape, and yes, he does, with a sliver of HP, as the Lord is up on his spawn in about 5 seconds in Quirky.
No punishment. I just called it, man. They can't stop him, even when it looked like they might have had potential. The Cult Altar comes up, then he malplays him with the ultimate to replace his positioning. It's just too much to handle.
Yeah, dirty tricks coming out. As you can see, the Thorn coming out, and Kevinator's so low. They don't even have any CC to stop him once he dives in with that Kinjutsu Ninja Scroll. Right now, seems like he is the strongest ninja, like his dialogue says. And at this point, SHOMONATION can feel it as they are going to the Deadly Catch, but there's the Call Ultra Blazing Duet to the back line. As you can see coming out, the Kinjutsu reveal on the manipulation along with the Bravest Fighter. And you can see the Bravest Fighter stands, and Kevinator takes quite low. They get 4 for 1. Only Apex in trade as Troll AB forced to flicker out of there. And he's a Uranus, and he doesn't really want to go and take in any damage. And right now, ABM going straight for the end. And those recall taunts coming in from Radium right now. And let's not forget, this is a best-of-3 series, guys, as Team ABM take Game 1 of the first semifinal series between SHOMONATION and ABM.
Oh man, you know you're in for a series when you get a Hanzo first pick putting in that much impact, that much damage up against a team. And honestly, I couldn't even say it's an issue with Shomo's draft. I think they took a very great draft. It's just some teams have those pocket picks that they've been practicing, waiting to utilize. And unfortunately for Shomo, it met the conditions for them to lock in this Hanzo, and it profited. But speaking of profit, Apex played out of his mind. Like I said, he was looking to change the narrative about this Edith and Kufra matchup, and boy, did he. 0-9-6 on this Edith, getting absolutely mollywopped. But Apex 5-2-19 evolved into the Apex Predator this match, setting up so many fantastic fights for the team, for the follow-up, for them to be able to go ahead and take out Shomo in Game 1. But Kronos, like you said, it's only Game 1. We got a best-of-3 on our hands between some very impressive teams, and if that's what Game 1 looks like, I can't wait to see what Game 2 and possibly a Game 3 looks like.
I mean, us as casters always want to see it go down to game 3, right? But only time will tell. As Apex there, being the Apex Predator, and shout out to the one from Missouri, Randy Orton there, just going out and showing that he can really play his game on this Kufra. Perfect engages every single time. And let's not forget the shot calling coming from the rest of the team, as they were so on point. And I am excited to go for game 2, but the real question isn't, do they ban out this Hanzo?
You know, you never want to be the team that has to ban the pocket pick, but at a time like this, sometimes you got to show a little bit of respect. I think a Hanzo pick would be worth. Honestly, I think if they don't ban that, at least a Kufra or a Faramis. One of those 3 picks have to be taken off the board. Together, they are just too strong. It's nonstop dives. It's too much sustain. They have to eliminate some of those threats if they don't want to have to face this composition again, because obviously we just seen what happened when they had to face the full force. They got to take a piece out of there.
Yeah, they definitely got to take a piece out of that puzzle, so that ABM will be scrambling for it. As right now, we are here in the lobby ready to go into game 2 for this best of 3 series between SHOMONATION and ABM. And I believe they have switched sides, as ABM will be on the red side and SHOMONATION on the blue. That was the same for the previous game, so I'm not sure that they are changing. It seems like SHOMONATION opting to go once again on the blue side, and both the teams are ready, and we should go straight into the game soon enough. Can I keep the viewers waiting? These the brains of these players are quite hot, but I think we will be going in for a short pause for this game, and we will be back just to see how these players are doing as well, just to make sure they don't have any connectivity issues. And we will take a short pause. This is Enquiry and Kronos. We will be back as soon as possible. Don't go anywhere, everybody. Just stay tuned, as we will be right back. Something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But
something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here
welcome back, everybody, to Battleknights Project India Season 1. We're in the semifinals of the tournament, day 18 right now. And for the first series, we're bringing you ABM versus SHOMONATION. And the first game was taken by ABM. And that the way they played their game just brought so much excitement to us, and we are ready to bring that excitement to you once more for this game as well, as this is Kronos alongside enquiry that will be bringing you that excitement. And enquiry, I think, like we just spoke about a while ago, the SHOMONATION needs to change their gameplay.
Yeah, absolutely, man. They definitely got to make some adjustments here. And again, I feel like knows for a fact they can bring that early game aggression. They can bring a lot of dive and punish the side of Shoma, who wants to play this game a little more methodically. They want to play it with more discipline, a little bit more cautious. ABM doesn't care about caution. They're all about the chaos. They throw the discipline to the wind. They just want to punish, and go for early clashes. Like you've been saying, that kind of that first 5 minutes is where they really shine. If they can make that work, they're in very good contention to go ahead and go on to win games. And they did that last time I was here as well. First 4 minutes, flashing on that first turtle and absolutely dominating and going on to snowball. So it's going to take a little bit of effort here from the side of Shomo. They got to be able to staunch the bleeding and kind of tame the beast a little bit, if you will.
Tame the beast in ABM for sure, as right now they are the apex predator in this entire series, which is a best of 3. And right now, let's not waste any time. Head straight into the draft for this game, as we will see SHOMONATION once again on the blue side and ABM on the red. And the question comes once again, do they ban out these pocket picks? Do they ban out these Hanzos that don't want to deal with them? And like you said, you don't want to be the team to do that, but is it come to a point that they will have to?
I mean, look, sometimes you got to bite the bullet, right? they got. I mean, let's be honest, right? They got stomped. It was a hard beating. It wasn't really an even match. So obviously they can't face that composition again. They need, like I said, they need to limit it in some form. I don't think you have to ban all three of the picks that I said, but I think you need to ban one. I think we need to see a Faramis, a Hanzo, or a Kufer, or at least try to prioritize taking one of those picks. ABM has first pick, but on the swing back, they'll be able to take 2 picks. So I think maybe you could look to get rid of the Hanzo and then let them take either their Kufer or Faramis and maybe snag the other. And that might be the best bet for them. Or I don't know, maybe just ban Kufer and Faramis and let the Hanzo walk. Maybe it's a different outcome if they don't have that mid duo there, and if they play that Hanzo pick.
Don't see them change up their playstyle and get a little bit more big brainy and a little bit intentional, rather a little. I'm not finding the right word, but they got to change up their draft right there. And we can see right now that on the side of a team, the blue team is ABM and the red side is SHOMONATION. They did switch up. And right now we can see the same bans coming out so far. The Terizla being banned out once again. The side of SHOMONATION don't want to deal with a Novaria, knowing that Apex can pick it up as well and play it in the roamer position, and Asuna can do the same with it in the mid lane as the mage. And right now they're trying to ban out these flex pick potential that come in from the side of ABM, but I don't think there's a way to stop that, because they are endless when it comes to that. And banning out this Fredrin that we've seen ABM pick up at whenever they're on the blue side, there has been this pattern where they go for the first pick Fredrin all the time, so that they get that priority not only in the jungle, in these neutral objectives as well.
Yeah, that's right. And it's unfortunate they're going for the same ban, so I'm not sure if they have the wiggle room, right, to be able to fit in at least one. They go for the Uranus. So yeah, like I said, they're going for the same bans, man. So that's rough. But again, 1 pick to the side of ABM, 2 picks here to Shomo. They could look to deny pick that composition here. It's not going to be able to be banned out, but they can look to maybe steal a couple picks here.
Yeah, they want to get these 2 priority picks, knowing that in this current meta, correct me if I'm wrong, and Quirky, you want to be on the red sides where you get these 2 power picks, because there's not one single hero that's so powerful in the game right now. But from the side of ABM, picking up this Lapu Lapu, and right now Jay is hovering it on this Retribution spell, and throwback to the quarterfinals right there.
I mean, look, if you're the side of Shomo right here, I think you have to look at this Lapu. Last time they got picked in the first 2, but right here it's first pick. Normally you're going for the flex pick. First of all, great pick from Shomo here. The deny pick, they take the Faramis. That's what I wanted to see. You got to try to take some of these picks away from them since they couldn't ban them out. But again, they took the Lapu first pick, so you have to acknowledge that this is definitely going to be a flex pick potential, because that's normally what you lock in first blue side. So I think they got to realize and be like, okay, we've done our homework. We know they love this Lapu jungle. It could go into the jungle. And right now they're hovering the Retri, so it's definitely a great call. And they just took that Kufra, so I'm loving what they did. Now they've denied 2 of those picks. They've stolen that composition so far.
They have stolen composition, and we can see that the side of Radium going in for the Irithel. Seems like they kind of swapped their drafts from previous game, because this Lapu Lapu and never mind, they banned out this Uranus and left this Chang'e open, and Asuna is just picking it up straight away, and we can saw what she can do on this Chang'e against a Ling even.
Yeah, so I mean that's the unfortunate part. That's just how the draft works. It's a bit of give and take. You can't get rid of everything. You can't deny everything. You just have to know what you're comfortable giving up. And I feel like, considering what just happened in game 1, I'd much rather give them that Chang'e that doesn't have as much the dive impact that Faramis had with the Hanzo, with the Claude, that would have this impact with the Lapu, with the Irithel. So you take the dive, now you got to face the poke. You got to take the trade, right? And right now they lock in the Hayabusa, so there is a bit of threat potential there.
I was going to say they got to go in for this dive composition from the side of SHOMONATION, picking up that Hayabusa right now. And that will be able to dive in and render Asuna useless only and if he can catch her. I mean, he can catch the Chang'e if only it only comes to that point. But once again, would you catch Asuna or would you catch Radium on this Irithel? And maybe they could go once again for this Claude pickup on the side of SHOMONATION. Just goes to show that the draft that they're building around, both the teams have come far in this tournament only because of their level of skill that they've showcased for us viewers and casters and the entire audience in the subcontinent of India and all over the world watching right now.
You know, speaking of something to watch for, I think at this point, ABM keeps Lapu in the jungle. And my reason being for that is that this is kind of what they had to face last time. They faced that CC with Kufra and they locked that Lapu in the jungle. Because again, during that Brave Fighter stance with the Raging Slash, he has that CC immunity. Not only that, he's a natural counter to this Faramis. A couple swipes from the Raging Slash and you completely burn out the Colt Ultra. Additionally, you have that CC as well with him, with that skill 1. And then even against the Hayabusa, right? Naturally, fighters up against assassins, it's going to lean to the fighter's favor. And they did that last time when they played the Lapu into the Ling in that same composition. So I think right now, ABM's in a good spot. Like, the conditions are met to leave Lapu in the jungle, and now they could look for an XP pick right now that they want to put out there in the side. So unfortunately, like, this could end up biting Shomo in the butt here, letting this Lapu be able to flex into the jungle.
They need to find a way to counter that Lapu Lapu and Asuna as well. And I was going to say Esmeralda would be great, but the side of ABM doing their homework and having a high level of game thinking, or rather high game intelligence, and right now banning out the Esmeralda. So really pushing SHOMONATION against the wall and throwing them into a corner. But let's not forget, if you are backed into a corner, there's nowhere else to go but attack.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, speaking of that, right now, they have a good potential. Oh, no, the clock got banned out. Ooh, that's rough. So they're hovering the Arlot right now. I'm trying to figure out, what do they go for the marksman? Because it's going to be hard to not only deal with Irithel, who can dive you, but a Lapu as well. And if he's in the jungle, I mean, he has a lot more chances to interact with your gold laner as opposed to him being on the opposite side of the map here. But, ooh, wait a minute. Are they still going to flex this Lapu and put the Martis in the jungle?
I mean, it seems like it, but I'm not really sure. This Lapu in the jungle, like you said, it does make sense. He can be in the EXP lane as well, just for a good matchup against this Arlot. But seems like they go pick up this Martis, and right now the way that all the spells are being hovered, and they can't really trade, so seems like he'll be going in the EXP lane. But Apex on this Mincetar of Rome just goes to show that he has the depth in hero pool when all these other picks are available. The Minotaur, the Franco, doesn't really want to go for that, wants to go for the anti-dash in the King's Calling and pick up that Mincetar. Meanwhile, the goal laner being left from the side of SHOMONATION. Now, this is finally going to end up bringing the draft together. What do they got in store? And this will go to show that they will go, that this will show how the gameplay is going to go on here on.
You know, and I'm honestly really surprised because they could have flexed this even more. They could have honestly just put this Mincetar over into the EXP up against Arlot, because he does win that matchup quite hard. And then just pick up a roam here that instead of letting the Mincetar play roam, maybe take, I don't know, at this point, they could even take something like maybe the Lowly at that point, or maybe even something like the Franco for that additional lockdown. So you have the Franco for the Hayabusa and then the Mincetar for the Arlot. You completely nullify their mobile initiator and assassin there. But again, ABM, master of flex, they flexed it even further and just put the Martis in jungle and Lapu over in the EXP and the Minty roam. So we're going to see how that works out for them up against Shomo. I think Shomo has a much better draft this time around. Not much better on matchup, but much better than game one. I like what they did. Again, you can't stop everything, but I think this was a good adjustment. It's a lot better than that dive-centric composition that we saw first game from ABM. They should have an easier time dealing with it.
I mean, they should have an easier time on paper, but ifs, buts, and maybes can only take you so far, and as we should be going into the Land of Dawn soon enough. But let's not forget, they did have a wonderful draft in the first game as well. Just lost out on a little bit of the early aggression that ABM had for them. But right now we can see, yes, they have changed up these spells. So Martis going into the jungle and Lapu being flexed onto the EXP lane just goes to show how deep these players' hero pool is. And right now, I am pretty excited to see this matchup doing for us as we see Kevinator going for the Impure Rage emblem as we head straight into the Land of Dawn, ladies and gentlemen, for game number 2 in series number 1 for the semifinals in the Battleknights Project India Season 1, Day 18. And I am so excited to be casting alongside this with Inquiry And just in fact, it seems like they are leashing about 4 of them in the blue buff so that he can get a faster rotation on.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to get this Martis up in mobile. They want Jay to be able to get ahead in this matchup, and I think he will, because right, as long as he can get ahead of this Hayabusa, it's going to be hard for Hayabusa to be able to do anything. When assassins are behind, you're not much of a threat, right? You kind of need to be ahead. You kind of need to be able to snowball. So I like that they gave him that leash, and he's already crossed the river and is stealing some camps, and I like that right now from the side of ABM.
ABM doing their homework, making sure they don't left any stone unturned. As right now, they've baited out the retribution of Shiyun on this Hayabusa as Nihan gonna get that knockup on this Kufra. As you can see, Apex trying to get the damage, but there is the knockup coming in from the Mortal Coil as Nihan taken down quite low. And there's the Spear of Glory and get 2 over there. As you can see, the first blood going on to Asuna thanks to this Changa's damage. And we know, we've seen how well this Chang'e can be good for them in the late game. But if you give that early lead, it will be quite a problem as the quad shadow coming out, but missing the mark on Apex. The retribution is there. Apex forced the flicker. I think that was a slight bit of a misplay there and gets taken down.
Yeah, I think at that point you kind of just hold the flicker. I don't think there was a chance for him to escape, but now that not only do they get the kill, but they also burnt a spell. And it's a huge spell for Mincetar, especially when you're talking about landing a flicker, Guardian's Calling, or even a hook there. So it's a bit unfortunate they went ahead and wasted that flicker, but will they be able to recover?
Yeah, we can see the quad shadow once again, the shadow kill coming up, but they don't have the damage. Spear of Glory connects on Nihan. He is caught out, but the decimation going on to Shiur right now and gets taken down as Radium gets a kill onto Nihan, who have been trying to do some work, but overextending this entire time. And Apex providing the right engages for his team, as we can see Melly get hooked by the Spear of Glory. That's reached the level 4, and right now going in for Bennett's Rage, but gets taken down by Jay once again, who is on a 2-0-1 KDA, and slowly but surely starting to snowball this game as we can see him online.
I mean, that's that early game aggression, that 4-minute, 5-minute window that you talked about that they want to play inside and capitalize in. And so far, that's exactly what they're doing. It's a rough one right now for the side of SHOMONATION, but they are able to pick up a turtle. So a little bit of recovery, if you want to call it that, but a fight topside.
Yeah, you can see the bravest fighter coming out. The stun is there, but Troll AB, will he be able to use a vengeance to get out of the way? The flicker being forced out from Alim. He misses the skill 1. But meanwhile, in the mid lane, this jungler Jay gets taken down, but finally Troll AB falls in the top lane as the side of team ABM requests for a pause coming in. We want to make sure that the teams don't have any unfair advantage or any technical issues when it comes to this game. So we're giving them the pauses when and do that they need it. And right now in Quirky, so far I think SHOMONATION have done their part of the work to keep the game and the ball rolling. But if you look at it, it's just a matter of time till ABM get that slam dunk if it keeps going this way.
I mean, I'd say they've done decently well. I think they could have done better. Obviously camping out there in the gold lane, using those resources for that Mincetar just for the Martis to come clean up Jay coming from behind. And I like what Jay did too as well. He took one of the kills with the decimation. He could have took the kill on Hayabusa, but he didn't. He let Radium pick that up so he could get a kill in his pocket as well, because he was right there for the taking, but he just walked away and started heading towards the gold crab and let Radium pick that up. So he's spreading a bit of the economy here, which is definitely what you want. He's already in good standing. We saw him get the early advantage in the jungle clear, so he already had a bit of a lead. Then he gets the kill, gives up that second one there for Radium to get a piece of that pie as well. So I'm loving what they're doing. To Shomo's credit, though, like you said, they are keeping it somewhat close, but I think it would have been better had they not wasted that time when that Mincetar gave up those 2 kills. It actually ended up being 3, right? Because 2 of them were gone. They had to respawn, so bot side was uncontested, it was unprotected, and they were able to pick up a 3rd kill leading on. So I feel like that was a bit of a problem. Those 3 kills shouldn't have happened, and we're looking at a much closer game at that point. But for what it's worth, it's not the worst case scenario. They've definitely been worse off, like in game 1. So like you said, definitely a little bit better here. Now we just got to see if they can try to minimize the mistakes and transition through that mid and into that late game.
Yeah, that keyword being transition, right? They want to have that smoothly going over. But right now, I think Apex has been baiting out all these skills coming in from the side of SHOMONATION and able to draw the attention of the entire team towards himself. So while they are doing so, like we saw, like you mentioned, Jay coming in from behind and getting a kill onto the rest of the team. And like I said, spreading the economy, let everybody pick up let everyone pick up all these pieces, because right now, if everyone does a little bit, one doesn't have to do too much.
Yeah, and something funny I wanted to point out as well. I know last game with the Hanzo, you were saying it was kind of like that pub stomp champion, right? Honestly, I look at Martis the same way as we come back from the pause. And in the pro scene, he's treated as such. In MPLID right now, he's sitting at a 27% win rate. But if you go based off this game, you would never know that. You would think he's one of the best junglers. So I guess maybe in the amateur side of things and in the RG community, Martis is very strong. But it's funny seeing it from the pro scene being such a awful pick, honestly. Even though he gets picked a fair amount, he just doesn't win. But right now, ABM showing their prowess, able to use these picks that aren't often on top and kind of dominating with it right now. But it also is a red flag to Shomo that what are they doing wrong to let a pick like that capitalize right now? What can they do to fix it in this game?
Yeah, fix it is indeed what they got to do, because they need to get this game in order to take the series to a game 3 so that they will be able to go ahead into the finals for this Battleknights Project India Season 1. As of right now, we can see that their Apex is trying to hook everybody, but not really catching. Used quite early, and Jay Mortal Coil just his way out of there. I think they really had damage control going in from the side of SHOMONATION. They could have lost a lot more in terms of that team fight, but able to control it, and ABM capitalizing on that and sieging on this tier 3 turret in the bot lane.
Yeah, right now, like I said, it is a bit of damage control, but at what point SHOMONATION's control and doing the damage, right? Where do they get ahead? Because they were in this position last game. They were behind. And right now, while they haven't, maybe it's not as bad as it was last game at this point, they're still down 4K gold, right? It's 2-0 as far as towers. They haven't opened up any lane yet, and that's what they really need to do. And I feel like they have the option if they play it right. Oh, what a nice spear!
That nice Spear of Glory getting the Kufra, and right now Shiu not able to pick anyone off as ABM always rotating with 3 men at least to have the advantage in their rotations, and they get that top tier 1 turret, tier 3 turret as well, and you can see the turtle spawns in Quirky.
Yeah, the turtles spawn in, and right now at this point I think Shomo's making the right call. They're definitely going to leave that up for ABM's taking. They're just going to try to peacefully farm. But like I was saying, I think they need to try to get out on the map, try to find some split push opportunity. They have a Hayabusa, try to pick up some towers. Last game they couldn't. Now they came to fight.
Yeah, the fight was brought to them indeed with the Flicker King's calling, and the Flicker Brave Spider stands as they get 2 for nothing right now, and baiting out even the final slash as Jay goes into the Mortal Coil. There's the quad shadow and the shadow kill just to clear out the minion waves. And right now we can see that the side of ABM really good at juggling this turret aggro and making sure nobody falls, as they are quite dominant in this game too as well. And the question is, once again in Quirky, what does SHOMONATION really have to do to get this game tilted onto their favor? Because right now, like you said in the previous game, this is how it was looking. They had a 6K gold deficit, and it seems like it is the same right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're right. It does look the same. Ooh, Kufra jumps in, but that's a bad play.
Yeah, he went in quite aggressive, but nobody home for the rest of the team. And the final slash comes out onto Radiant, but there's no follow-up since Melly was taken quite low, quite early, as Alim goes in with the Bravest Fighter stance with the Raging Slash and forces the Queen from Radiant, getting the kill right now. And seems like ABM are on top by their names, Apex and Radium, really putting in the stops as Jay getting the split push on into the bot lane. And right now they have only the tier 2 turret in the mid lane standing, but it's only a matter of time that it falls as they are sieging at it. All 5 men going ham. And right now Mortal Coil will be there, but they're able to clear out, though they're not. The cannon minion was still there. Kevinator taken quite low, forcing out the Cold Ultra and the Flicker as well. Neon really misses the Rage, Tyrant's Rage, as the Meteor Shard comes out along with that heavy crossbow for the damage from Radium. and King's Calling just to zone them away. That was really a misplay coming in from Nihon, and right now they are trying their best as they can, but this game seems, ABM just seems too much for them to handle, but on the bot lane, Shion trying to get something in return.
Yeah, I mean, they do try to find something. Finally, they do pick up a tower, but it might be a little too late at this point. They put themselves in a much deeper deficit, down 8K. I do like, though, that they waited for this Lord to spawn in, because now they can take this Lord. They've already pretty much cracked the mid tower. All they have to do is get that Lord in range is pretty much over with. And with this Chang'e, they can easily do that, right? You call in that Meteor Shower, and it'll zone off everyone, and they can go ahead and take that tower. They can really end it with this first Lord. That's how far ahead that they are right now. And this is honestly a very advisable strat for any team when you're at such a lead. That first Lord, you skip that third turtle, go for the first Lord, and you can look at a game ender depending on what kind of picks you have. Even if you don't have the greatest picks for Siege, when you have this kind of lead, you can play aggro enough to just go for the dive, and you're going to win that fight. It's not a 50-50 at that point. It's more like a 70-30 unless you put your phone down and let the AI take over. But considering this is a tournament, I don't think the side of ABM is going to look to do that. So this could be an easy walk down, and Shomo really doesn't have the picks to defend. Besides this Beatrix, maybe the Hayabusa, they have a little bit to defend, but they don't have a high ground mage. They have a Faramis who unfortunately hasn't offered much with the Cult Altar.
Yeah, he does. Once you bait it out, he really doesn't have anything to show. As right now, we can see Nihon charging up the Tyrant's Rage.
Where is he going? Get that back.
I know. I was going to say, you got to need some Uber, maybe Ola right now, just to make sure you get the right targets and reach your destination. But you can see the Lord really wants to go on the Crystal, but there's the final slice of the Flicker, but the King's Calling is there as the Tyrant's Rage comes out onto 2. But the Spear of Glory hits all 5 of them. As you can see, they're falling like dominoes. And right now, Troll AB surviving, but Kevinator respawns as he gets the Shadow Stampede. And right now, ABM seems like they're on a stampede and taking this game. That was a beautiful play coming in from the side of ABM. And that last Spear of Glory, that hook coming out from Minstar from the side of Apex, really goes to show how great this entire team is as they stomp their way in a dominating fashion and make their way into the finals of Battleknights Project India Season 1.
I mean, what an appropriately named skill. The Spear of Glory being the spear leading the team to victory here up against Shomo Nation. And, you know, definitely a huge congratulations and shout out to Shomo Nation making it this far. Unfortunately, this is the end of the road for them because, again, this was the best of 3, but not only that, a single elimination. So they will be dropping out from these last 3 teams here on their run for the grand finals. And I believe correctly, ABM has advanced to the grand finals and will be waiting for their opponents who we'll get to see play next. But looking at that match, man, the Radium, like you said, that consistency from the gold laner there, we saw in game 1 with the Claude, he played exceptionally well. And here with the Earthol was no different. And this time able to take the MVP, although I'm sure maybe some people would say Apex with that last Spear of Glory could have easily made an argument for his case. But ABM, like I said, the whole team firing on all cylinders, Kronos.
Yeah, the whole team firing on all cylinders, indeed, going all guns blazing, even though they don't have the Claude and an Archer with this Irithel, really hitting their mark, especially when it comes to these team fights. A really good communication, you can say. But let's not discredit Shomo Nation. They came all the way from the top 216 teams that took part into this tournament, all the way to the best of 4, top 4 right now, and they will get a chance to battle out for 3rd place against the team that doesn't make it to the final again for the series of Team Cry and Kala JADU, as they will be battling it off for the next one to make sure who goes against ABM in that grand final. And like you said, in Quirky, this Radium on this goal lane has been so consistent, not only for this series, but throughout the entire tournament. I don't think I've ever seen him one time getting a silver medal in this entire tournament thus far. And it seems like that has been the key to their success, you can say, even though they had this jungler and Jay going in and providing all that zone and the damage as well in these fighter junglers, these tank junglers, and not only that, also with these assassin jungle pickups as well. But right now, this key has been Radium, so it seems like whoever is going to face against them, you might want to watch out for the way they play around their goal laner, as Shomo Nation weren't really able to do that, and that's why they won't be making it into the grand finals, but will battle it out for the 3rd place that will take place tomorrow. But as of now, in Quirky, is there anything else you want to say? Because I think you summed pretty much everything up, and what we saw is what we saw.
Yeah, what we saw is what we saw, and what happened is what happened. That's normally how they say it is what it is. But as far as what I want to say, man, I mean, a great, what was it, day 18? It's been a lot of days for this tournament. We started out with so many teams. I believe it was like 216, if I'm not mistaken. And now we finally have reached to the final 3 teams, and it'll be final 2 soon. So it's just been a great journey here in the Battleknights Project India Season 1. I've had a great time running alongside here with all the different casters, seeing all these different teams, bringing that commentary to these amazing matches. And I'm just looking forward to grand finals, man. So excited. We know one team going in is ABM. They're locked and loaded and look ready and poised to take it regardless of who they face. But that's going to be the last bit of me casting for today. So glad you guys had me up here on the desk. Shout out to production. Shout out to Kronos being the amazing play-by-play with me today, making it so easy to bring in that colorful insight, and especially to the community being here, because without you guys, you don't have anything. So it takes the equal effort from people on this side and the people on that side, man. It's a beautiful effort. So just love being here, and I hope to see you guys again soon.
Yeah, just before we sign off, and Quirky, let's not forget to thank these production one by one. To be honest, let's say that this tournament is brought to you by Battleknights Esports, powered by Mobile Saiyans, managed by Mayura Esports, and let's not forget the streamer Bad Tanker, the legend, who's been doing a fantastic job as well. And thank you so much for that feedback and for the entire community that you said a little bit of what you want to bring to the community in the Indian subcontinent in Quirky. We will be trying to bring out more for everyone, and this is only the beginning, and the climb to the top will be really fun. It will be long, but it will be a fun one. And this is in Quirky and Kronos. I'll be signing off for today. And let's not forget that there will be exciting casters for the next game as well. And the next series will be Team Cry versus Kala JADU. And I think Linwell will be bringing you that action. And shout out Linwell. But from here on out, we'll take a break and make sure all the casters are ready and we can bring series 2 to you. And don't go anywhere. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, as we will be back soon after a short break. Something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But
So if you want something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here something to hold on to, the first. But here something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here traveling the mountains just to find the loudest tears. We set down by the fire, knowing we could aim higher, but we didn't know that yet. So if you want something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here Memories die out too hard. But we were traveling the mountains just to find the loudest tears. We set down by the fire, knowing we could aim higher, but we didn't know that yet. So if you want something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here trying to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here I remember the ocean, memories die out too hard. But we were traveling the mountains just to find the loudest tears. We set down by the fire, knowing we could aim higher, but we didn't know that yet.
Hold on.
So if you want something
Hello
to
guys, welcome back to the Battleknights project in the ESC matchup against two teams. We have Team Cry and JADU, but joining me today is none other than Rem. Take it away.
Hello, how are you? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to see this series, right? The first game I casted for this tournament has been a Team Cry game, and I'm pretty sure they put off some really impressive things. So I'm excited to see them perform here again against JADU. And honestly, you might be a little bit more familiar from these teams. So is there anything that you can tell me about the side of JADU?
Oh, okay. So we've seen both of them play in the previous quarterfinals, and I think you casted for that alongside Kronos for for Team Cry. And okay, both of their playstyles are very similar in the sense they have the aggression in the early game, and they either like set off on a certain funnel strat with either the marksman or jungler, or go for instead an aggressive comp, like for example the Kdita, the Grog, or maybe even Cho for picking off any potential enemy divers. So like both teams have very similar strats, or they have the answer also for any other strong comps which the other team goes for. And so we're gonna have a really interesting match to see how both teams who have really adaptive strats and really good game plans go against each other.
Okay, well, I'm very, very excited to see how this is going to go. It looks like these players are kind of hopping in and out of the lobby here. I'm really excited to just jump into the draft and get this started. So we guess we gotta wait till JADU there get some of their members in.
Yeah, indeed. We'll start the draft in a bit, but Ram, how you feel like the meta has been so far with how the games have been progressed through this entire tournament? I know you didn't watch most of them, but you saw Team Cry play off in one of those matches, and like how was their composition when you compare it to the server, like the games in your server or the games which you casted?
For Team Cry in particular, I will say their drafting is definitely better than most that I have seen. They have a very strong answer when it comes to having a complete front to back a draft, right? They have answers for that early game. They have their mid game pressure, sorry. And then they also have answers in that late game to be able to close off where their early game picks kind of falls off and it becomes a little bit more harder for them to capitalize off of. And I think that's already a big step ahead of these other teams. But speaking of being a step ahead here, now that everyone has been readied up, I think it's safe to say that we can head into the draft for the first game between Team Cry and JADU here.
Yeah, indeed. I'm really excited to see what they have in store for us, as we have Team Cry with the first spanning phase, and they're going to have their first pick also. Pani Atakam here bans out the Uranus, which we've seen really commonly banned there by Team Cry. either getting off those strong frontliners or the damage dealers. So from off of this, we could see them going for an aggressive comp, and Uranus being a really great disruption and even a frontliner, gathering that info, cutting waves, like just providing so much, even instigating in jungle invades. It's gonna be a really huge deal for, especially since you're going for an aggressive comp. So you want to apply pressure in other lanes, so you don't want your jungler to struggle while you're doing so. Now, it's a sensible ban coming in from Team Cry. We'll have to see though what JADU answers with this, and they do with an Alice ban.
Oh, absolutely right. And I think it's pretty interesting because you were talking about the power of that Uranus pick and seeing them for the side of Team Cry batting it out. We do know how much pressure he's just able to apply, and if you take into account his sustainability as well. And speaking of sustainability, the Alice also being banned out. But one of the interesting things is that from the early game is where the Uranus kind of shines, but in that late game side of things is where the Alice really starts to shine. So I feel like they could have potentially left that open, but I feel like it's more so of a target ban for someone on the side of JADU there. So I'm not too sure. I feel like it's more specifically directed towards someone to deny them from being on that comfort hero. So that's what I can say for that. But again, both teams focusing on the EXP lane so far.
Yeah, and the second bands coming in, really good bands as well. You see the Valentina getting kicked off early on, as just provides so much for team fights. The ultimate, just being able to utilize any ultimates that any team has and just use it in your own favor. It's just a huge deal, because you can get the Delicate from Bane or even Fatal Links from Atlas, a really good ultimates from the Roamer specifically also, and even the mages have really good ultimates. So utilizing this potential, Team Core getting that off, they don't want that one off. So we might see really strong ultimates from their side, perhaps a Kalita, perhaps a Grok. I'm really excited for what they're about to cook. But from the side of JADU, they do get off the Terizla, which is a really strong XP laner, has been dominating a lot of matches in the meta, and just being able to provide so much with his damage, tankiness, and even ultimate, which is really good for zoning and even catching off enemies off guard.
Absolutely right. And one thing I want to mention with this Valentina pick, not only does she offer a lot of outplay potential as well as additional utility for her team, the draft pressure that she applies is just something scary in itself, right? So I do think it's very smart for the side of Team Cry to take that off, to allow them more flexibility in terms of the heroes that they can slot into their overall team composition, right? And then banning out something like the export. Recently, speaking from personal experience, the export is something I myself will always try to ban out, because when you build in that ice cream wand on him, which is kind of slithered its way into the meta, you literally just cannot escape it. And then on top of that, you have the last insanity just coming and exploding on top of you, and before you know it, you're being sent up here to the caster's desk. So I do think that the side of Team Cry is having some really strong bans here, and I can tell that they're setting up towards making their early game a lot easier, as the 3 heroes they chose to ban out are very strong in terms of that early to mid game.
Indeed, I completely agree with everything you said there, and it's very sensible for your Team Cry to get that off. But you see here, JADU anticipating that early game snowball and getting rid of the Navaria, which could provide a lot of vision and potential for Team Cry, but they do lock in the Faramis, which is going to allow them to have that aggression in going in invades or even to lanes, because Cult Altar just provides so much. And the Yve is still open though, so Yve could be a potential counter to some of this aggression. We did see her banned in some of these previous matches because Team Cry wanted to avoid that counter attack from the enemy team. So the real world manipulation is going to be a really huge deal for getting through any of Team Cry's aggression, and I feel like it's gonna be up to Invoker to have a lot of positioning for that.
Absolutely right. And I do like the response. I think with this out of Team Cry prioritizing this for Ramos pick, you already it already gives to the side of Kala JADU that they're going to be setting up for a team fight composition, right? Everyone has to be kind of grouped up for that cult altar to do its job. So I like the answer coming in from the side of Kala JADU, right? Locking in that Yves with that real manipulation, it's just going to like, yes, the Faramis pick is strong, but that 4x4, that box that she has when she pops down that ultimate, while they're all grouped up, mind you, it's a really good answer for that Faramis pick. Additionally, Faramis is more so of a poke mage in terms of that mid lane matchup, which is also what Yves is known for, right? They did nerf the slows a little bit, but she's very strong in the right composition. And I think just because of the setups that we're seeing coming in from the side of Team Cry, Kala Jadu's responses so far with the Yves and the Arlot pick, definitely 100% something I'm in agreement with.
Indeed. The IGLing so far from both teams have been outstanding, and we've seen really good counter picks, really good plays. However, I'm a bit skeptical for this Arlet pick. You know, Arlet has been a bit unstable here in finding his foothold in the meta, getting those nerfs, and you know, the rise of XP laners, tanky XP laners in particular, have been very over the top, and you saw even some teams utilizing this, and the Yuzhong even got buffed also. So it's a bit of I guess counter, like direct instant answer for any aggression from Team Cry. So it's, I don't know what Haruk is thinking, but I think he has a good plan for that. But we do see the rest of the picks here from Team Cry, a Florian and a Claude, which are phenomenal and just gonna have a really good like setup for whatever comp they're going for in Team Cry. And just they have the Claude for safety in the mid to late game phase. Meanwhile, for here inside of Team Kala JADU, they already have the counters, and the Basha is there for soaking up that damage, and he has been really good in doing that, especially if having enough support. Usually you expect the Basha with an Angela or even a Florian, and that support kicks off teams to have that aggression. And so we've seen Cry with the aggressive picks. Meanwhile, Kala JADU with the counters here. And so far, Ram, what do you think about the second banning phase?
It's definitely very interesting so far, right? But
Yeah.
I just want to harp a little bit on the picks that we have been seeing to kind of set up the first half of the job, because I think it's a lot of counter plays coming in, especially from the side of Team Cry, and I love it, right? I was mentioning the power of that Yves with the real manipulation, but the fact that they locked in the Florin, that's already their roamer, right? So she's not going to be able to harass the Yves and make her cancel out that ultimate, but them securing this quad pick, he has the BMI. He's just going to be able to dive under that real manipulation and be able to apply that pressure and one, potentially make her cancel out that ultimate earlier on, or two, deny her the comfortability of using the ultimate in the first place. So I do think it's a very smart answer. Also, him having that mobility of a dash instead of something like a mobile blink skill, very strong, very smart. He has the mobility, he has the ability to play aggressive or also play safe. But looking into the second half for the side of Kala JADU here, I do like their picks, right? Locking in the carry. She is not going to have an easy time in that early game just because of how much pressure is going to be coming in from the side of Team Cry. But I do like the matchup with the Kaja, right? Anyone grabbed with that Divine Judgment, she pops the Speedy Light Wheels. That's going to be pretty much a kill secured for them to go for there. But draft has been completed. Lynn, take us into the game here.
Well, yeah, you said it the best here. And yeah, as you pointed out, we might see a potential really good trades coming from both sides. They do have the answers. They do have the counter plays also. So looking towards more of a setup from both teams here. Cry relies more on the vision provided by the rest of the mid laners, the Faramis and Florian. Glue even maybe denies some potential threats and like pressure applied in certain lanes. So I believe Blue will be able to hold this off often, or either that or like maybe hold his own in the XP lane. Meanwhile, from Call JADU, they just have a really balanced setup, really good frontliners, a really good disengage, and the ultimates also. And you have the carry securing for any late game potential. But her matchup is slightly bad in this sense because you're expecting carry to go against a glue, so it's going to be slightly hard for that aspect. But we are on to the lineup down here. Both teams marching down their lanes, getting here. We have a bit of aggression here from side Ari, poking out Void, trying to force to use the retribution, and then he does. But Venom here coming with support will be going back there, and yeah, disengage from both sides.
Now, I definitely do think the side of Team Cry, again, that I see their whole draft in completion, them lacking in a pick like the Glue there, really solid pick as well. So I mentioned the Claude with the Blazing Duet is going to be able to provoke a threat there to Invoker. But now also seeing Takam on this glue pick is also an additional threat to Invoker as well. And not only that, right, Carry with the speedy light wheels, he is also going to be able to kind of distract her while she's dealing damage when he does go into that split. So very solid things happening so far.
Yeah, indeed, and the aggression is there. And first blood going to avoid here, Invoker going down. With Colorado with aggression, getting a kill instead for trade. Florian going down instead. The rest of the team's backing off. There was a really nice invade from South Colorado, getting the retribution and securing the red buff. That's delaying the jungle on Void a bit, slowing down the rotations. They have the play, they have the aggression, focusing more on their early lead, and potentially might be able to snowball in certain lanes because of that.
Absolutely. You guys, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties here on my side, so I can't really comment on the game right now. So is it possible for us to like go into like a pause or something so we can sort this out, or?
Okay, I'm guessing what they'll have to do with management do. I'll help a bit for that, but the retribution lands from Venom here, securing it, the turtle, and the rest of Team Cry is trying to disengage though, avoid forcing a bit of a team fight here. After this come in, and we have the glue ultimate being used onto Haruka, not very provincial though, and retribution coming from Venom. Able to secure that blue buff, thus denying another jungle for Void, which is so crucial, especially since you are a mid to late game jungler, and just denying all this. College JADU just provides so much aggression, and we have Invoker secure another kill with a little manipulation onto Funny Attack him, and that's just gonna be another victory for College JADU first team. Okay. All right, so both teams having that pressure, and College JADU just popping off with that jungle invade, getting those objectives. We do see them position a bit in the bot lane there. Possibly a Divine Judgment might come out from Karaja, but forced back here as the rest of Team Cry will be there for applying the pressure and possibly forcing them to go off a bit. And all of this is going on. We have really good rotations coming in from both sides here. And here, Call JADU not finding a pickoff, just giving enough pressure for the enemy team not to get those pickoffs. And Carry is struggling a bit here in the lane phase, denying a bit of minions to him. But rest of the team, Call JADU, is more focused onto that lord or objectives, and turtle. And then we do have the rest of Team Cry noticing that a bit, catching up on the farm, getting those jungle and kills slightly. Venom here is though coming here for another invade, but will not be fruitful. And there's a retribution from Void. Very crucial. Divine Judgment coming in onto Ponytakam. Will be forced to use a split, but that's not enough as Haruka takes him down with a Flicker ultimate. And that's a free turtle possibly for a side of Kala JADU. They have a hero that is XP lane. And pressure is this being applied on bot lane though. You have Vale here being poked down a lot and being forced to back, but they won't be able to take him down as the rest of Team Kala JADU is here with backup. Turtle being secured and a lot of pressure is being applied here. Invoker with a real one manipulation will be able to force them back off, and that is zoning potential kept applied from Kala JADU here. So far the aggression has just been on and on, not leaving Team Cry to secure any of these objectives, and been very active so far in all of the lanes. Getting those kills, getting those farms, denying vision, and Team Cry is just struggling a bit. Maybe have a bit more communication and do certain things. But Venom here is getting poked off a bit, and Divine Judgment won't be coming off there. Flicker play with the Divine Judgment being used, and Baby Cutie goes down to the carry. Rest of Team Cry is here trying to stay alive. A really good way, Blazing the Wets here by Tarun for clearing the wave. Will be caught off though in the back crew, and Carry will be able to melt him down, and that's another kill for side of Vale. Wonderfully played, and while the rest of Team College got these kills, might be able to go for this bot lane turret and secure this objective early on, which is gonna push them so far in the lead, and as well as map control. Okay. They will be forced to play back a bit passively, and Ponytakam will be caught here, maybe forced to use even a slip clip, but no, damage won't be availed as the rest of Team Kala JADU are positioned for this mid lane push, and we have them applying a bit of pressure. Although it does seem the Kala JADU's positioning has been on point early here, just not allowing the landslide to get any jungle ready for Divine Judgment to pick him off at any time to get those objectives, and even securing certain kills on very crucial targets like the Claude and the jungler Lancelot. While this is all happening, the rotations have been on point, and this is gonna be a hard position from side of Team Cry, especially make a comeback since you're so down on farm, and the rotations have been very difficult. As Kala JADU having two frontliners and a shutdown with the Divine Judgment, so this is just gonna enable them to apply some pressure as Divine Judgment come in onto Ponytakam, will be forced to use a split, but carries damage. It's just too much, and he manages to melt him down. While the rest of Team Cry try to reposition and maybe take back this map control, maybe take back, get a trade or two, but it's very difficult to pull off. As here, Avoid gets a wonderful pull on Hurricane, but won't be able to capitalize off that, and we have a bit of aggression from Team Kala JADU on top lane here.
Absolutely right, and I love the attention coming in from the side of Kala JADU right now, right? They're roaming together, which is what you want to see with their draft composition. They have to look for these team fights because that's where they're going to win with the power of having Invoker on this real world manipulation. But a lot of attention here in the mid lane.
Yeah, wonderful figure play, big use, roll manipulation being is also carried with the mega kill onto the really crucial target, but won't be able to do so as Blaze is coming in for a claw turn, dealing a lot of damage, but not enough follow-up, and Haruka will be there to finish him off. We have Void to position for this sort of play, but it gets detected by the Invoker. Goes from the Phantom Dash, Thorn was being used immune, but that won't be enough damage, and Team Cry will be forced off to back from this engage.
Absolutely right. And what I like about Kala JADU, they know that the carry was going to have a hard time in that gold lane. So them prioritizing that and opening up her lane so she'll be present to deal a little bit more additional damage in these team fights. But before I get into that, and speaking of team fights here.
Indeed, Void is being poked again, and he won't be able to secure that because of the retribution level difference. And Venom gets another buff and this is just gonna be so hard for Void. You know, you're getting your jungle camp stolen at 24/7, and the aggression has just not stopped because you can't really go on the aggression. Also, they have a Kaja to shut you down, and there's a concealed play coming from Array. Okay, into the Claude, take him down, and Tarut's not just having a great day as Vale chops him down, and it's gonna get this bot lane turret also as a bonus.
And this is what I mentioned in the draft, right? Anyone hit and caught by that divine judgment, Calvary's gonna pop the speedy light wheels, and it's pretty much a kill that's going to be secured for the side of Kala JADU here. But speaking of things to be secured by them, they're gonna go ahead and take up this Lord uncontested. As we look at some of the gold differences here, right? It's over 7k gold lead for the side of Kala JADU. And I have to give credit to this Basha pick in the jungle. Whenever you decide to slot in an assassin of any sort as your jungler and the enemies have something like the Basha, you have to play aggressive. And speaking of some aggressive plays here,
Indeed, and their team composition has just been on point. The Kaja to have any shutdowns for the aggression with the divine judgment, as you said, catching them off guard. What can you really do at this point? As maybe could avoid that with the cult's altar, but they're just dragging you off from away from your team, so it's just going to be a bit hard to position, especially since you want to avoid the frontliners and the carry, who's just able to melt almost anyone. Maybe Glue could use his ultimate, but I'm not certain here. With Vinishman being caught off here and targeting onto the Void here, getting the mage off, and the rest of Team Call JADU applying the pressure, getting those 3 kills, and Whirl Manipulation also being popped off here, will be forcing them to back, and Team Cry really low on the HP. Vale here trying to go in, but will be able to flicker out, and the rest of Team Cry is just on the defensive side for now. Lord marching down bot lane, getting that secure. A lot of damage being dealt. Turret here being followed up by Haruka, who won't be able to finish him off, and the rest of Team Cry is trying to sustain a bit and do a bit of damage. Tarun here with the Blaze Duets, melting down the main team, but Carry will be able to take it off here, and the rest of Team Cry is just on the back here as Call JADU with aggression, getting those turrets and kills. Void trying to get a pick off at a late game fight, but not being able to do so, and will be forced back here. Rest of Team Cry trying to defend this, Void using his ultimate, but will be called out by Haruka, and that's a kill with the flicker play coming in with all the divine judgment also being used to catch off Baby G, QT, and we have a melt being done by the real manipulation. Avoid being forced to back off, and Team Kala JADU trying to end this early on. We have Fanny trying to defend, but it won't be enough as a split does not have enough damage, and that will be game 1 victory going to the side of Kala JADU, securing the dub. One fleet, wonderful team fight at the end, and that was just a lot of skills used at once. I say even the flicker plays were so well on time. After the other, just using there's as soon as you see a stray enemy, or even after the enemy team has used their abilities, or you have the info that they already used their escape skills. So going off of that, and those team plays with a divine judgment were just phenomenal. Wonderfully played by side of Team Call JADU.
absolutely right, and it just goes to show how well they drafted in this match, right? They have a team fight composition, yes, by slotting in the Eve with the RWM, but they also have the ability to secure some pickoffs with the Kaja, as well as that with the Kaja. So I think they did a really good job at setting up for that anti-team fight engage with a Void on this Haramis pick, and then also being able to get some quick instant burst, which is usually the case when you run in the Kaja. You usually slot in a mid laner like the Kadita, something that's instant, something that can actually do burst instead of poke or DPS. But in this case, they had a Eve, which is essentially there for zoning and poking and utility. So locking in a marksman like the carry that can offer that instant burst potential, very, very smart and solid drafting coming in from the side of Kala JADU. And it's shocking because I was seeing so much support coming in for the side of Team Cry. And in my previous casting of their matches, I said that Team Cry made the enemies cry, but in this match, Kala JADU actually put the cry in Team Cry. So I'm hoping that in the second game, Team Cry can kind of, get a box of tissues, wipe their eyes, and come back stronger for game two because I know they have the potential to really put up a fight here.
Indeed, I completely agree with you on that. And maybe we could talk a bit about the stats here. Team Cry did struggle a bit in the early game. Well, the aggression and the invades from Team Kalajadu, it was just too much at that point. And even after losing the level 4 spike, that's just put them so back ahead as the aggression just kept on coming, and they just took their jungle, took the objectives, even took out some of the lanes, and it was just so hard for a comeback to happen, especially since your jungler is the most underfarmed at that point. So who else is there to secure those objectives? Void is the only one who could potentially snipe down the back line. We have Tarun though with the blazing duets, but that damage is not going to be enough because all 5 members of team Kalajadu, most of them are pretty tanky and have disengaged. So yeah, very very well draft coming in from Team Kalajadu, and yeah, look at the team fight participation. Invoker 93%, and just always present in all those disengage, and even team fights for setting up. And the real world manipulation in this game was used quite uniquely if you took from a different standpoint, because usually you use it when the rest of your team are engaging or setting up team fight in major points. But Invoker used it in a different sense for securing objectives, to use the real manipulation to get the enemy teams out of that certain area, take the map control, and then secure the objectives like the turrets, or even certain kills, which the Kaja pulled off with the Divine Judgment.
Absolutely right. And again, I just have to give so much credit to the side of Kala Jadu there. I think overall they did a really good job. And despite Team Cry having the ability to secure that snowball, like I mentioned, I love the Florin pick as well as the clock, or that answer to the real world manipulation. But Kala Jadu, man, being able to help their gold laner so she can win out that lane, and they made it a lot slower. They made it a slower game for Tarun there on this Claude. So I do think they understand what's at stake here, and they're definitely playing at a level that I'm quite impressed to see. So I think it's very inspiring, and I'm really looking forward to the next game because they played their composition to the T. If anything, it's a chef's kiss in terms of execution. Their overall draft, man, look at this. The Kaja hasn't even taken any deaths. In fact, 4 members of the team hasn't taken any deaths, and it's only Invoker there being the one to die 2 times, and that's not even a discredit to him on this eve, right? Despite him dying those 2 times, his overall teamwork and teamwork contribution cannot be denied. So I think beautiful execution, and I think we're setting up here. So we might go on a short break as we get ready to head into the second game.
Something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here I remember the ocean, memories die out too hard. But we were traveling the mountains just to find the loudest tears. We set down by the fire, knowing we could aim higher, but we didn't know that yet. So if you want something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here I remember the ocean, memories die out too hard. But we were traveling the mountains just to find the loudest tears. We sat down by the fire, knowing we could aim higher, but we didn't know that yet. So if you want something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here
Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Battleknights Project India Season 1. We're in game number 2 for this matchup for Kala JADU versus Team Cry. And man, oh man, what a game the first series for the first previous match. We saw Kala JADU, really good draft. Team Cry also had a really good draft, but in the early laning phase, I was just stumped with the aggression applied, and it was just really well played from Kala JADU's side. Rem, yeah, you saw most of the matchups there. I think you were a bit of a fan of Team Cry since that was the first game you casted. But so, like, how you feel since Team Cry got dominated for that first match?
You know, I supported them when they were at their prime, and I can also support them after they take a loss. You know, I feel there's a lot of sentimental value there, you know, and in terms of like me and my expectations for the team. But like I said before, I passed off the previous series. I do think I've seen them play. I know they have the potential to really execute their draft. So maybe there was some miscommunications along the lines. Maybe there weren't as much rotations and responses to the gold lane, or the counter engages were a little bit wonky, but I do still think that they are a pretty solid team. And like I said, I want to see them take us to a full best of three series, right? I want to see them get their head in the game because if they lose this next round, no pressure, but a lot of pressure. But that's going to be it for them in this tournament. So I really, really hope that they can get that momentum back, which is usually hard to do after a loss. But man, speaking of the winning team though, for College JADU, after what I saw in terms of the draft as well as the execution of the draft, it is going to be an uphill battle for the side of Team Cry.
Indeed, well said. And we'll move on to the draft to see if Team Cry manages to get this reverse sweep. Will they be able to put the victory here against Team Kala Jadu, which are going to have the first pick for this time? So maybe they could go for a different draft, which we saw in the previous matchup. They had the aggressive comp, they had the counter comps, but we'll just have to see how Team Cry plays along with this in the draft phase.
Absolutely right. And I feel like if you want to go for something like an assassin in your jungle position, I do think it's important to ban out things that can kind of make it harder for you to get that job done in that early game stages of the game, right? So banning out something like the Fredrin there for the blue side, I think is pretty solid. You really don't want to deal with someone who's capable of applying that much crowd control, to your team. So I do think that's very smart for them. Also banning out the Terizla as well, pretty solid. And again, we're seeing a lot of focus for the EXP laner, but a little bit of some respect for the side of Team Cry. They're going to go ahead and ban out this Eve.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we did see the previous game. They gave the gift to the side of College JADU and sort of snowballed them, losing out in crucial team fights where you clump up together. As you said, Eve is really good in spreading them apart and dealing a lot of damage. So really good bans here coming from both sides. College JADU focusing on those frontliners instead, and maybe expecting Team Cry for the aggression. So they don't really want that, especially since they're going for a first pick. So I'm expecting a different composition from Team College JADU, which we didn't see in the previous matchup. They did ban out two really strong frontliners, while Cry goes for a respect ban, as you pointed out, and a Uranus, which we've seen in the previous match also. But Team College JADU will be going for the Faramis ban. Oh boy, oh boy.
To live is to trick the
I
Reaper.
think it's pretty smart, right? Batting out something like the Faramis, but something that is open right now, which we saw tonight last game, two things actually, that the side of College JADU can pick up for themselves. It's either the Valentina or that Novaria pick. And both of them has a lot of pressure. The Novaria, she gives map control, map pressure. Every skill she has reveals the enemies, which makes it hard for an engage or a setup. And the Valentina, the pressure that she can apply is in the draft. So before the game even starts, and both mages, right? So a very solid ban. I'm trying to see what the side of, they're going to go in for the Alice ban here. And I think it's smart, right? Because it lets the side of College JADU get one of those picks if they do decide to go for one, which they don't. They lock in the export, but now they have two opportunities to pick something up here for themselves.
Indeed. And this quite possibly might be a more aggressive comp, and since they have that Novaria open, and potentially export is you don't really see him in the jungle that much anymore, as teams often focus on the XP lane slightly in a lot of matchups, because when you compare with other junglers, export can't really provide that much of a pressure as if you even compare it to the Basha previous game, which had really good engage and was able to immediately go in, whereas export you have more of a disengage, slow build up in momentum. So this is really well played on College JADU going for the XP lane instead, but Cry will be locking in two really strong heroes, the Brody and the Valentina. Brody, Tarun on that Brody. We've seen him play really well. Immense damage potential being outplayed, and even playing so much aggression in the goal lane. I'm just excited what's about to cook for this match.
Time and tide wait for no man.
Absolutely right. And one thing I do like coming in from this side of Team Cry is avoid picking up this Valentina. I think it's a very solid pick whenever you have an ultimate like the last Insanity, which for those of you who does not know, his ultimate recently has been changed a few patches ago where he can benefit from magic items. So her picking that up, she's primarily going to go for that burst build regardless. So she's going to be able to dish out a lot of AoE damage if she does decide to pick up that ultimate. Additionally, her spell vamp and lifesteal that she does get back due to her passive also very, very strong. And I love this Kaja pick because now Avoid has options, right? He can take the rough ways from the Kadita, Bobby Cutie there on this Kaja. He can lock someone down with the Divine Judgment and then have Avoid use that rough wild ways there to secure that pickoff. So I do think there's a lot of combo potential, but I think it's also risky slotting in something like the Kaja into an X-Borg as well as the Kadita. X-Borg, when he builds in that Ice Cream Wand for that additional utility, he stacks up on the true damage and he also gets that utility like I mentioned before. So I do think he has to be very careful when going for these pickoffs and looking for these peel and giving vision with that Ring of Judgment. So definitely going to be a little bit hard for him to find these pickoffs, but they still have the ability to get the job done nonetheless.
Okay, I did not know that Xbox Ultimate benefited from magic damage. So that's 1 point given by Rem here and on the analysis, which is going to be a really good knowing going through your rank game, guys. You're going to have this extra knowledge from knowing that. But we'll see a bit of the drafts here, which has already been made by both teams. Side of Team Quiet, really good heroes, individual plays, and be able to do a lot of damage also, while Team Call JADU here does have the frontliners, does have the damage, and positioning is going to be pretty easy with these certain heroes, discarding export. But yeah, both teams so far, I'm expecting a bit of a more crowd control focus hero from side of Team Call JADU, because you need someone to answer for that Kaja to punish him for being the aggressions. We saw Call JADU with the Kaja just doing so much damage and giving so much vision because they had Florian as a roamer, so not exactly having the answer for punishing those pickups. But yeah, both teams will be having the second ban there, two roamers from side of Cry, and meanwhile two really strong frontliners from side of Team Call JADU.
Absolutely right, and I like that Team Cry decided to ban out the Kufra as well as getting the only other suppression in the game off of the board. I think they don't want that much of a setup potential coming in from the side of Call JADU, which I think it's smart, especially when they have something like the Kufra, like the Kaja, as their roamer, right? The Kufra, he can be able to get some really good plays with that flicker. Tyrant's revenge there, so I do think banning it out makes it a lot easier for them to get some of these pickoffs. But speaking of things that can secure some pickoffs, Arad there is going to go ahead and lock in this Cho, and that Way of the Dragon, I've seen it back in NA where he can combo with the Kadita very, very exceptionally well. It's a perfect combo when you get someone with that Way of the Dragon. It acts as a suppression in itself because it's a target lockdown, single target, and then that's where Kadita is going to shine. So I'm hoping that we can see some of that Kung Fu Panda meets the Atlantic Ocean type of action coming in there from the side of Call JADU. But a response to that, the Basha is going to be played on the other side for Team Cry this time around. And if we look at some of the jungler matchups, I'm not too sure how I feel about Venom lacking in this Doroth as the jungler position. I feel like they should have flexed the X-Borg into that jungle position and then get something a little bit more stronger in that EXP lane. The Esmeralda would have done a really good job at applying some additional peel potential there for the side of Team Cry, but they're going to go ahead and finalize their draft with this Edith pick. So now that your draft has been completed, Lynn, I want to put you on the spot, right? Whose draft are you more in favor of this time around?
Well, considering the previous matchup, and you look at the facing from Team Croy here, they do have the suppression, the frontliners there, and disengage is also there. Alongside, you have the damage, although the Valentina, the Brody, they're not one to be messed with. If time comes to tell, they're just gonna be able to melt down almost every hero inside of Team Call JADU. Except maybe the export, because he does have the Firaga armor to have a bit of a sustain, and most exports do build with the immortality. So it'll be up to a lot of frontlining to be done by Haruka, and even Arif with the positioning has to be on point if they don't want to suffer from the divine judgment from the Kaja, or even just the poking capabilities from the other team.
Absolutely right, and I completely agree with you. I think though, if I look at overall draft compositions, I'm going to have to be in favor of the side of College JADU. I think they have a pretty solid front to back composition going for them. And if you look at the side of Team Cry right now, they have that heavy frontline presence, and their damage dealers are really only going to be this Brody as well as this Valentina, and both of them are poke heroes before they can actually secure that finishing burst potential. So they're going to have to combo a lot if we want to see some effective pickoffs happen during this game. But if we look at the side of Kalajadu right now, they have the poke potential, but they also have the poke potential. But speaking of people being poked out here,
Alright, going down to really low HP. There will be forced there. Void coming with assist will force out a flicker, and they will be able to take this aggression onto the Kadita here. Coming the rough ways, getting a knockup, and that's a first blood for side of Venom. The early game damage from the Kadita and Dire was so much. I didn't expect him to go down that early. That baby cutie just got mated.
absolutely, and
Yeah.
oh, we're seeing a lot of damage being done to Invoke there. So pretty good scaling there coming in from the side of Void. But I was confused about this Doroth pick, right? It can do a slower time up against Void on this Basha pick, but him getting that kill also helping spike up his levels there in terms of his farming and already his gold lead. He's on the path of potentially snowballing in this match, and that is not what the side of Team Cry would want. But we're seeing some action there down in the bot lane as the turtle, the first neutral objective, is about to spawn in under 4 seconds, and we're already seeing a lot of pressure from Team Cry as they position for it.
Yeah, Culture will be a bit late to the party as we have the rest of Team Croy trying to pull the turtle onto the side, but we'll be able to reset it. The positioning from Arya and Venom is just on point. Might be able to even pick it off. Venom here dealing a lot of damage. Void going down to half HP, using Torres to escape. So Haruka won't allow that and will be able to finish off while the rest of Team Call JADU is being melted down. Penny Takam here trying to do a bit of damage. Won't be able to finish off there, as the rest of Team Call JADU will be able to escape, but X-Borg gets caught off guard and will be taken for a trade instead.
Absolutely right, and I like the fact that Team Cry was able to secure a trade there and having an answer for where they kind of fell short. We did see the turtle get reset, but quickly they're back on their way to bursting it down, and it is going to be contested for the side of Team College JADU here.
Okay, but they do secure it with the dragon coming onto Panitaka. Won't be left of the rough Wiz being able to take down a Void here by Invoker. A lot of damage being dished out and forcing the rest of Team Cry to back out here. And damage is just so much from side of Team Call of JADU. The rough waves just were so on point. I was expecting a bit more positioning from side of Team Cry to counter this, but Invoker is just so good with targeting his targets.
Absolutely right. And I feel like Team Cry right now is not playing their draft in its full potential. When you have something like the Bosch Epic or the Martis in that jungle position, your job is to invade. We're not seeing that early game aggression coming out, and they're playing it passive, they're playing it slow, and that is not the time for them to be playing passive and playing it slow here. They had to be on the aggression. They're playing a little bit too safe, right? They have something like the Kaja, they have the Valentina, she has the crowd control, she has the poke, she also has the sustainability. And I mentioned, right, she also has the ability, but before I get into that,
all right, we'll be able to get called by the Adjustment, but the rest of Team Call of JADU will be able to finish them off as the Brody goes down alongside Baby QT. But that is a 2-for-2 trade from both sides. Invoker, though, will be cut off by Panitakem, and Knockup coming in, a lot of damage. Waves might be going in, Void dealing a lot of damage, but that's just enough, and that's a shutdown going to Panitakem. Rest of Team Cry just getting the jungle and a bit more of a lead, which they are a bit back on, but will be spotted by Array here. Void getting forced back off and won't be able to get picked off, but the rest of Team Cry is positioned very well for his turtle fight, and they will have to secure this if they want to make a potential comeback in the goal lead.
absolutely right, but we are seeing the side of Team Cry here set up in the bot lane. It is a 2v1 situation, so they can go in for this either here, but look at Invoker.
Invoker just securing that and not be able to do that, but a really good knockup here come in. And in the top lane, however, we have a trade-off, and Divine Judgment come in from Baby QT, being able to pick off Veil, a lot of damage being dealt, surviving with a sliver HP, but will get taken down, and Turtle's also taken down by Void. Team Cry here getting that lead and getting there's kills from the different parts of the map. I was very focused on the bot lane there, and I did see the top fight there.
And this is what I want to see from the side of Team Cry, right? They have the ability to play aggressive, and I like that they actually are. As long as they can get Brody out of that lane, which they did to secure the tower, but Invoker, he has been caught out, but in comes Basha, though, for a little bit more pressure on the top side. But as I was saying, right, they have the ability to play aggressive, especially in the early game. Brody is one of those marksmen that can really push those towers in that early stages of the map. So as long as they can get the rotations, but a conceal play.
Array with the Wave of the Dragon will be taken down by QT. Rough waves coming in, that's a lot of damage. And the frontliner being gone, the suppression spawn from side of Team Cry. So Team Kalja will be going in, but Void here is with the poke kit, won't be able going in. And the rest of Team Cry is just in a difficult spot. Your main disengage and initiate got taken down, so this is not looking so good, but they will be able to back off, and the pressure just from Team Call of JADU has been so much in all the lanes, and Team Cry managing to answer this though will be able to pick up the pace a bit when the mid game to late game starts, and might just be able to get a snowball into this.
Absolutely right, but speaking of things that they might be able to get a conceal play here coming in.
Oh, I don't think they're going for it. But
they kind of have to play a little safe, and this is just going to shoot them in the leg, right? They have to try to make these engages, but a setup here.
Void, okay, I think both teams are just poking off and, looking for another mistake, but Venom will force a flicker, ultimate in coming in, but Baby Q2 will be able to, Divine Judgment coming in, but Kadida catching off, two off Team College, Cry, and getting the verified kill onto them, won't be able to escape though, Void being melted down, trying to force back a bit, Xbox will be able to finish off the Brody, and here, Funny Time getting the kill onto Venom, the rest of Team Cry trying to get a disengage, maybe meltdown of a certain target, Funny Time will be taken down though, with a massive shred, and Baby Kitty the only one left for his team for defending any of these turrets.
Well, that was such a good knockup coming in from this Kadita, saving this show there. But speaking of things that might not be able to be saved, this tower in the mid lane, we're seeing Beatrix being objective focused, and she was locking that down. They were able to get it under that 50% mark. So the next push, they would potentially be able to secure that. They did get the first tower in the bot side, but a flicker with the dragon, but a good divine judgment to stop it off.
Yeah, okay. Maybe that was a bit forceful there from Array, trying to get that pick off. But the rest of Team Cry will be able to go on the aggression from off of this. And I think they might be focusing on the Lord Mater, getting a hero down here. So Team JADU will be positioned to maybe get a pincer attack and surround the rest of Team Cry. So they are positioned for this. Avoid here with the poke onto Haruka. You know, damage. Being a frontliner, Haruka will not be able to dish enough. They will be forced to back, and that's Immortality being gone. But we have Kadita here with the rough waves catching off Avoid and getting a kill with Wave Dragon being used onto Void though, but he won't be able to take down. And the Lord being secured by Void just before he goes down. That's a double kill for Venom, but you lost the Lord in that process. Panitake, the only one being alive, there will be able to take down. And that's a complete team wipe for the side of Team Cry.
Man, they were able to secure that Lord, but the side of JADU were able to secure 5 bodies, and something tells me we're going to be attending a funeral after this best of 3 series here, but a concealed play.
Okay, you will be able to catch down Array, but damage won't be enough and you'll be able to escape. But Boy is not allowing that as he comes here with her. But the Wave of Dragon will be able to push him back. And that's a perfect exit by the side of JADU. You know, they don't want to get picked off, especially when the Lord is marching in top lane. Will get shredded though by Venom here. And a wonderful positioning from Invoker to catch anyone off guard will be seen. Tony Takem here, providing a bit of map control. And it's Invoker has just been on point with positioning, but he will be forced back as Team Cry just gets a disengaged though. Joe's ultimate being taken by a Void, and I'm interested to see how he plays with this.
Absolutely right, but
Okay, Wave Dragon coming in, but damage won't be enough as Void goes into the back line, and maybe Kitty stroking a bit, not really finding that output, will be able to stop a Raider from marching in, and rest of Team Cry is in a particular spot waiting for the Edith to come back, possibly, for getting a pick off, and Baby Kitty needs to possibly mark this veil here on the Beatrix, who is stranded here, and might see an engage on here. Avoid trying to go in. Vine coming out. Damage will be enough, and that's a shot down, which is massive for Tarun here. And the rest of Team Cry is still applying their aggression. Will be going on to this show and possibly going out for turrets, and they will be trying to scare this. And the rest of Team Cry of JADU will be in the air for a pincer attack. We might see coming in from this Kadita, but the turret goes down to Tarun, and the rest of Team Cry, backing off. They got what they want. They got the kills, they got the turrets, but Avoid almost caught off guard there, but will be able to escape. And we have Divine Judgment not being used. Okay, I thought he was going to go for that, but doesn't go for it. And the rest of Team Cry backing off, getting the disengage, but Invoker is always in an aggressive position. Okay.
And one thing I like about Invoker is that he finds these bushes where he can kind of flank the enemies. But speaking of finding things, while there's a null in action, I want to take a minute to look at some of the items that is being built in here for these teams, right? If we look at the side of Team Cry right now, Invoker is putting in a lot of action for the side of,
Okay, Basha was taken down with all that. The team fight has just been on, and we've not seen the stop for that. As Array goes in, wonderful knockup here. Jikundo being used, Panitake being there's a lot of damage. Avoid will be using the last insanity though. Maybe zone a bit, and Dart goes down, but a trade comes in from Beatrix. Array trying to put out aggression, but will be forced to back as both teams get a disengage off of that. What's massive 5? Why Veil? Okay. Oh, just making the gap even further. They're not going to allow the map control being given.
Now you really need to watch where you're recalling when you have heroes like Beatrix, Leslie, Novaria, Xavier on the enemy team. You might as well walk to that base. But speaking of walking, are here walking into the full team of Team Cry.
Divine Judgment will be used and a lot of damage being dished out, and the Torbot members is enough. Wilhelm with the flicker play onto turn will be taken down. Invoker with the Ruffle Waves not be used though, and will be forced to back a bit. The rest of team Cry is being dished out a lot of damage. WQT with the conceal play will not be able to catch anyone though. Haruka with the last insanity, a lot of damage being dished out, and it will be enough to take down Void. While the rest of team Kala Jadu is a bit on this trade, and he gets taken down instead. Void with the trade off, and Team Cry not backing off. They know they can still win this game, and getting those trade offs, getting those picks still.
Absolutely right. And I mentioned, again, I want to dive into the items so far. We're seeing this export building in that Ice Queen wand, and it's been helping so much. It's making him find some of these pickoffs even more, right? Beatrix, she has 10K right now. She has the most gold in the match so far, so she's doing a very good job in terms of how fed she is here. But the Lord is already being worked on, but a concealed play here coming in from the side of
Alright, well, wonderful way of Dryan will be enough to take it down, but Invoker just with the positioning, getting off that pickoffs, but it will be traded instead. Ponyin with a wonderful trade, Tarun being melted down to a lot of HP. Haruka, last insanity being used, but Flicker being enough to flicker out of that situation. Array trying to get a pick off of that, but won't be able to find so, and the rest of team Kaljado will be backing off, getting those jungle and getting those lanes, possibly even starting off a team fight from the Lord.
Absolutely. I did see a pause request coming in from the side of Kalajado there, so can we...
Yeah, I think we might go for a pause with Array here, getting with the knockup onto Ponytakum. Okay, since we have some time in our hands here, what do you think of the matches so far, the build set and the itemization?
Definitely, I'm seeing these teams being very knowledgeable on what they have going for them so far. Kadita on this, the Invoker on the Kadita is doing a very good job at dealing a lot of the main source of damage in terms of securing these pickoffs, right? And I also like that Team Cry is building in some of these Athena shields to make her burst potential a little bit less bursty and more so tickle damage, right? So I do think it's smart when people actually adjust their itemization and actually build in for some of the threats on the opposing team instead of saving it for that late game, when at that point it's usually a little too late for that. So I want to give them their commendations for their ability to be able to do that, but also the way that they're finding some of these answers, right? When Cho goes in for some of those flicker divine judgments, we're seeing some flicker way of the dragon, too much pickoff ultimates in this game here. We're seeing the divine judgment find him in his tracks, telling him no. If you want to kick my members, you're gonna have to escape this rope first. So I do like that they're having some of these responses, and they're a little bit more quick on their feet in terms of their actions and how they respond to what Kalajado is throwing at them. So I'm very impressed. I feel like the synergy that I saw in the first game that I casted for them, it's back. They're ready. They're hungry, and they want to take this game. They're not giving it up without a fight, and that's what I like to see.
Yep, indeed. But I think they'll have to look out for that Kadita though, if they want to get a comeback. Because Invoker's just been able to get so many pickoffs, either on the Void or even dealing a lot of damage to their main front layer. Void here on the Basha, just being able to melt him down to so low HP. And that's so crucial, you know, since in your certain comp, you're focused mainly on pickoffs, and the Basha is there for the sustain, and possibly even giving an anti-heal effect also, which might not seem that relevant, but Venom is going to sustain a lot if he's allowed to do so in certain setups. But we are on to the match here as both teams trying to contest this Lord, possibly bait it out. The Kala Jadu here doing a bit of poke here, and Haruka just, knows his role, going out for Venom and make him go back a bit. His export does have that true damage threat. Venom Void will be trying to go in for its third pickup, but doesn't see that, so conceal play coming out from Baby QD. Might go in, doesn't go for that though. This base attack in the minion.
A very big waste of that utility and element of surprise going in for them. Call it JADU finding a good way with the dragon.
But that will be a pick off. Body Takum going early on. The rest of team Colorado will be on going for this lord here. The rest of team Koi will need to have the answer. The Divine Judgment still being available. Last Saturday also from Void here as the rest of team Koi goes in. Last Saturday being used, but the Retribution is there from Venom securing it while this SMG goes on. And the Earthways with a Petrify coming in from Invoker, taking down two members of Team Cry. Only Baby Kitty left to defend this push. And the rest of team Cry will be respawning in a few minutes though, a few seconds though, I believe. But team Kaljadu just with the aggression.
Absolutely right. They could have gone for the full lane sinkage, which they did here, but they really didn't need to, right? We're seeing the Lord crashing into that mid lane, but top side.
Very flicker play with the dragon. Okay, but it is enough to take down the frontliner, and the rest of Team Colorado will be finishing off this game and securing the victory. What a wonderful play by both teams. Saw it there. I'm just gonna say, really amazing flicker plays there. We saw a lot of Jikundo flickers from Soil Array, getting those kicks and separating the members of Team Cry, because they're strongest when they're together. I think from this team comp which we see, and anticipated that, and the pick-off potential was just so much either by Invoker or Array. It was just a wonderful match to cast.
Absolutely right. If we look at some of the itemizations that's being built in here for the side of Team Cry, I would have loved to see Brody complete that magic blade, right? If he did go in for the full completed item, he would have been able to sustain a lot more damage coming in from the Kadita, or even go in for the Athena shield, right? Brody is one of those marksmen that he can afford to build defensive items and still deal a lot of damage in the game, as he does scale off of his max stacks, and then you go in with that ton apart memory. So I do think that he kind of set himself back, right? He prioritized the Wind of Nature instead, but Vol wasn't his problem. He kept getting bursted from Invoker. Everyone kept getting bursted from Invoker, right? So I do think that they should have prioritized a lot more in terms of those magic damage that was coming in. Because if we notice, right, some of the combos, and we can see from the team fight participation from that roam and mid lane position coming in from the side of Kalajadu, it's the Kadita and the Cho. Whenever he finds a kick, in comes a rough ways, right? You can't even, it doesn't even matter if you know how to swim at that point, because it doesn't matter. You're going to drown either ways with that combo, right? You just cannot go against the tides in that situation. So I feel like they could have done a lot more in that aspect. So again, good game being played from both sides. I did see a little bit of fight back from Team Cry, but I'm sorry, I'm going to have to use it against them this time. College JADU, man, really making Team Cry feel the tears.
Indeed. Yeah, but that will be the second series of the semifinals victory going to College JADU. Man, oh man, what a wonderful play by almost everyone of the members in their team. And we saw different play styles in both games. Tanky jungler and a different setup. Here it was a different setup, also mainly relying on the Cho and the Kadita, and they executed it perfectly well here. Cry tried to maybe feedback a bit, I'd say, but they relied too much a bit on the Kaja's Divine Judgment, because it was either disengage or engage coming in. Because other than Kaja, the rest of Team Cry didn't really try to initiate. I guess Avoid did a bit, but they didn't really benefit off that. I think the aggression from Team Kaljadu was too much. But yeah, I think that'll be all for this match and series, as we see Team Kaljadu moving on to the finals. And it is going to be Team Kaljadu versus Team ABM. And these are two massive milestones, massive frontlines who are just going to face off against each other. And that'll be all for this tourney, I guess, since this last match of the day. And this is Linwell here, casting alongside the wonderful Rem. And Rem, do you have anything else to say for this match or tourney?
Honestly, again, I just want to say thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be able to add my contribution to you guys, because regardless of whatever happens, whatever comments are made, I'm here to show my support to the tournament and to your region as a whole. I feel like every region deserves to have a competitive scene, and it starts with the community. So I'm really, really thankful that I can be a part of this and to watch it happen. I've been tuning into the streams for the days that I haven't been casting, and it's just been beautiful throughout, whether it's watching the teams play or, like I said, my first day casting, listening to the casters here. You guys add such a beautiful flavor to the players of the matches and make their games way more impactful. And I hope that the work, the effort, and the dedication that you guys are putting in is being appreciated from the community, because running a tournament, conducting a tournament, and making the tournament run smoothly, it's not an easy task, So I just want to say to you guys who's organizing and being a part of it as well, keep going. There's times where it could get hard. Don't give up, and yeah, just keep aiming for greatness. So thank you for having me.
Thanks, Ram, for that wonderful speech. And yeah, thank you so much from the side of the community and even the management team as well. But yeah, that'll be all for tonight, guys. And that's the last game for the semifinals. Look forward. I think tomorrow is the bronze matchup, the third place from the two losing teams, which are going to battle it out. But yeah, that'll be all for today. In the Battleknights Project India Season 1. This is Linwell and Rem signing out. Have a good one, guys. Good night. Take care and stay tuned.
Memories die out too hard. We were traveling mountains just to find the loudest tears. We sat down by the fire, knowing we could aim higher, but we didn't know that yet. So if you want something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here I am, 'cause I've been laying under palm trees, waiting for the summer, knowing there's nowhere to go. 'Cause I am happy on this island, wanna be my farmland. I don't ever want to leave, I'm in a tropic club. something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here I am, 'cause I've been laying under palm trees, waiting for the summer, knowing there's nowhere to go. 'Cause I am happy on this island, wanna be my farmland. I don't ever want to leave, I'm in a tropic club. Traveling the mountains just to find a light.